this week. Conference come off a pretty tough loss for this football team. Versus Missouri. I thought our guys played good football for a great stretch of that game, and about 8 minutes of that football game we'd like to have back. But really when it's all said and done, you don't go back and get it. You learn from it. This group, as we've gotten some guys back, and as we continue to get guys back, I think the opportunity is there. We just have to make sure that we function consistently, and that's been a word that you've heard me talk about all year: consistency, and that's where we're at. I mean, this football team is focused. I think it understands what's in front of it. Obviously there's always questions as to who's up, who's down. And how are you physically? And I think physically we're fine. I think this is a football team, and when you look at in terms of where we are conditioning wise, man, we're fine. Wish you had a little more depth on this team, but everybody does this time of year. I look at the team that we're playing, Ole Miss. Again, you're talking about an explosive football team in the SEC, and it's got players, offensively extremely explosive. Jordan Tamu is a really good quarterback. Can beat you with his legs, and has a big arm. He's got receivers around him, that can make plays, and a running back, and Scotty, who is tremendously talented. I think he's close to 1,000 yards this year. When you look at where he is, Scotty Phillips has been, maybe pretty talented, pretty talented and inconsistent back for him. So, between Jordan and Phillips, and they'll run the football. You'll see some quarterback run. You're going to see, some inside zone there. Again, I don't know who's necessarily playing, but I would assume that those two are going to be, featured, from the backfield. And obviously, their cast of wideouts are really as good as they get. So, it's going to be a challenge for this football team. It goes back to stopping the run, playing well on special teams, and being able to defensively and make sure that we can create some turnovers, as best we can. And that's an every week process. Special teams has to show up for us. It's got to be more in the push in special teams as you get down to the end of the season, and you need some things to happen. But this football team, again, got back to work on a Tuesday. Watched the tape on Sunday, got back to work on Tuesday, and we understand what's in front of us. So, with that being said, I'll turn it over for questions.
You said 8 minutes. You lead almost that whole game. Kentucky played really well, real good defense, just gave up a score at the end. Do you find that those 8-minute periods or whatever losing games are at the end, and is that a concern?
Well, it wasn't at the end of this game. It was really third quarter. It's happened in different stretches. Sometimes second, sometimes third, sometimes fourth. I look at this ball team, and it's not like we're devoid of talent. We probably have similar talent when you talk about our ones to everybody else. When you're talking about it, but it's just been the consistency. Defensively, you're trying to play a lot of snaps in the first half, maybe trying to, maybe sub some guys out, but you do it and you can lose momentum. And the reality is, man, we got to play our best guys, consistently. If they need a break, then they need a break, but you break them in other areas, man. You can't do it in groups, man. You got to do it piecemeal. And these are the things that you have to consistently talk about. There's a lot of things that could have been cleaned up in this ball game, and we had some opportunities like in this game. But I tell our guys, practices and games are really one and the same. People act like they're totally different, but they're really not. You have to take the water breaks that we have in practice, and those things are timeouts. When you're looking at special teams, man, the focus is definitely on special teams, and that's where you break it down. When you're in offensive and defensive periods, whether you're going against one another in competitive periods or you're looking at the scout periods, those are competitive periods that you have to win. And so everything that you do in practice, will really, spill over into games. And I think finally, as I'm talking to guys are starting to understand exactly what I'm talking about. There can't be lapses in ball games, and that's lack of focus at times, and all the way around. Listen, mistakes are common in football. Okay, the inconsistency part is the part that we gotta try to find, or we gotta try to leave home really, you know, I mean, that's on us. That's on the group. That's on me to find it. That's on us as players and coaches to snuff it out and let's make it disappear. And we need that now.
Are you encouraging guys not to ask for a break as often in games right now? Or?
That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, what I'm talking about is learning how to focus on the now. I mean, maybe if you want to be specific. I mean, that's all I'm talking about in practice. Maybe it's period 3, okay, and it's special teams, focus on the now. What are the details of the now? If we're in an emphasis period, focus on the details of the now. Every play I'm talking about, focus on the now. Because here's the thing, man, if you lay, dream, or drift in ball games, you get beat. That's all there is to it. Okay, I mean, there's no time for it. So if you don't necessarily, if you can't pinpoint it, but then you got to find it. I think I've seen it, you know, enough over a season to be able to speak specifically to what I see, and what I see are just lapses. When you go back and watch the tape, there's just lapses. You know, whether it's players, okay, well, you can't put those players in. You got to keep your best guys on the field, and let's keep going. I mean, if they're tired, maybe call a timeout. If I don't have timeouts at the end of the ball game, then so be it. I mean, that's sort of what it is right now. But you got 2 games left. It's winning time. It's win or go home. So that's sort of where I have to be. I've got to focus on the now.
Looking at the body of work defensively, doing plenty of things right, like getting takeaways, but still third downs have been an issue, not being able to get on the field. What has been there on third down that do you think has prevented you from being successful getting off the field on third down?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, opportunities to hit the quarterback at times. Sometimes the ball's getting out fast. Sometimes, you know, it's a busted coverage. And listen, you name it, it's happened. You know, that's not what it necessarily looks like in practice, but it shows up in games. And again, you know, situational football is so critical. We're good at it at times, and you know, very inconsistent at others. But when you looked at this ball game, just like some others, and you know, when I told our guys, you know, what it looks like. I told our defensive staff, you look at teams in the first half of ball games, and they're searching for it, they're looking for it, and then teams decide at the end of the day, okay, we're going to run the ball down the throat, and that's exactly what they start to do. And so, and we understand what it is. We held up at the end of that ball game. We got the ball back. We just didn't put any points on the board, and that's, you know, for me, it's offense, defense, and special teams. It was cumulative in that ball game. It added up. You know, missed field goals early in ball game. You make a field goal, you're kicking a field goal to win. I mean, that's not emotion, that's facts. So I mean, we've got to continue to be about the things that matter. Okay, man. When we miss things early in ball games, man, it creates stress for us late. So man, we got to be opportunistic. Margin for error slim. Let's go.
You talked a lot about depth. One of those players that you probably want is Charles Wright. Are you expecting to possibly have him back at some point this season?
Man, I've been hoping and praying that was going to happen. But you know, I mean, for him, when you looked at it, you know, I mean, that opportunity hasn't happened. And when you look at where he is right now, man, you hope that you can get him back. You know, but and that hasn't happened. And we're going with what we have right now. And we're rolling, and that's Charles is not the reason. When I look at the other issues that we have, you know, all the way around in terms of just overall lack of depth. I mean, I think our outside linebackers, Josh Smith's playing pretty good right now. Kenny Abear's playing pretty good right now. We sort of moved on from that. It's really the depth at inside backer and where we're at consistently with the secondary in terms of injuries.
Derek, do you think you guys have been too conservative in some of these short yardage situations, last game and some of the previous games?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you call it, man. We're just trying to punch it in. I mean, we throw for it on third down. You know, man, if Elijah winds up getting a touchdown, we come back. We have opportunities trying to get Key back on the field. You know, maybe try to get our best player, you know, offensively, maybe in the football in a critical situation. And, you know, we don't get it now. Could we have been in a different formation? Could we have done something different? Yeah. Did we give it to our best player? Yeah. So when it's all said and done, you can say that you could have changed it, but the best player had the ball. We didn't get it in. And, you know, is it a factor in that ball game? Yes. But we have plenty of other factors that contributed to that. That was just another big one.
How does facing the Missouri offense and how much they want to throw it and tempo, how does that help you prepare for Ole Miss? Are they similar?
Yeah, you know, I mean, like the tempo, Ole Miss is going to be just as fast. You know, the teams know now, you know, hey, listen, man, let's tempo it on these dudes. Let's see if they can get settled down. Let's see if they can, you know, function. Generally, man, we get an early drive where, you know, teams do it. You know, I mean, we generally settle down and start to play. So, do I believe Ole Miss is going to tempo us? Yes. I mean, I would. tempo us, and then, you know, maybe see if this team can handle it. And then that's where you go from there. I mean, really, there are no secrets when you're this late in the season. It's going to be what it is.
So you generally think that probably opponents look at it and say depth is gonna, if we're gonna beat Vandy, it's probably gonna be because of our depth.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I just think teams are going to tempo us, and they're going to see where they're not, and then we can get them off the field. If you can't get them off the field, then plays start to become an issue. If you get them off the field, then it's not a problem, because hopefully, I mean, your offense put points on the board, so you're putting more stress back on them. So again, it's got to be, you know, it's going to be what they do well versus what we need to do better in order to try to then make this a ball game that goes the door's way.
You have to approach this game, Derek, like it's a bowl game, since you got out these last two in order to get to where you want to go in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I think, you know, I mean, a lot of people would agree. For me, man, it's just a win or go home like mentality. So I've been in playoff situations like before. I've been in, you know, in situations where you had a win or go home. So, like for me, it's all the same. I mean, I think it's prepare, play your best ball, get ready to go do what you do, and let's play our best ball this weekend.
Two more questions. Coach,
Derek, have you seen the guys? We're talking about, you know, it's the same story this year, some of these close games. How have you seen them bounce back each week, and what are you seeing so far this week in that way?
The easy thing is, you know, man, for these dudes, I think I believe enough in them, and they believe enough in me, man, to bounce back. That's what it's about. How resilient are you? I mean, in this process, you know, you want to win every game that you play, but man, there's been plenty of opportunities for us to, you know, close out, you know, some of these ball games, make a play here, make a play there. Hasn't gone our way, but like I tell these guys, keep doing the work, and you know, hard work creates luck. You know, man, we need the ball to bounce our way, and man, you got to work a little hard. So that's where we're at. They're right back at it. It was a great Tuesday practice. Started a little slow, ended fast, and that's exactly what we needed on a Tuesday.
Coach, thank you very much.